Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, this is morning coffee, Monday morning coffee with RhinoMan. Actually, it's afternoon time now, but we have a special guest. If you see the title, what is the good life all about? We're going to find out right now. This guy is super interesting, but before we get started, I have a couple of things to make some announcements for. Um, you're probably right now watching the Yoshi's channel. They have a premiere. They have a video that just dropped 12 o'clock noon, as they do every day. It's a collab video with Lolo Slots and Sister Yoshi. That's posted at 12 o'clock. But then the second part to that video is at 4 p.m. on Lolo Slots. You have to go over and check it out. But first, as we always do, I have three questions for you. The three questions today are this. What kind of comps do you like at a casino? Do you like hotel rooms? Do you like free play? Do you like gifts? There's a lot of different casinos doing a lot of different things, but I'm curious to know what you like as, casino goers. What do you like to see as comps? The other one is, do you have a bucket list for your channel? That's something that everybody should have. I know I got one. I still have a couple of things on there. 15 heads on Buffalo. That's definitely one of them. The other one is getting a high limit major. And of course, the elusive grand, which I have not got, but some of the people in the chat have definitely got. Today's, oh, wait, that was two questions. Third question. Third question is specific to your channel. Do you think having multiple things on your channel, different kinds of content, helps your channel or hurts your channel? Just want to know what you think. For me, I'm trying to keep it all in the same niche, but who knows what happens. I might switch it up after hearing what you guys have to say. Today's channel supporter of the day. You see it going across the bottom. Hopefully there's no misspellings because you guys know me. I'm the king of misspelled words. Yo Ange. Yo Ange has always been a channel supporter of RhinoManSlots, and I really do appreciate her. You can see her across the top. She shared out my content multiple times, so I really do appreciate her and thank her for what she's done. But right now, let's get him in here, and I'll say hi to everybody in the chat. Hey, what's going on? The good life. He's got the content there. I see shaking something right there. I see some olives, martini.
It's a lot of olives, actually. But yes, it's my favorite drink, a dirty martini. So I figured I'd get this RhinoManSlots interview started up right.
Wow, I'm just drinking Kahlua and coffee. So
I was thinking about, because morning coffee, but I missed the morning coffee rush. So I thought, you know what? Let's dirty martini it up. And in honor of Rose S. Slots, who loves dirty martinis, I'm sure she'll appreciate this.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
Let me say hi to everybody in the chat first.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have the lovely Sister Yoshi. She's so excited to see this interview. We have Florida Claimers Ted. Thank you for coming in, bud. Really appreciate it. Rockin' Rocco Slots. If you haven't checked out his channel, you got to go over and check it out. He's growing pretty quickly now. It's starting to move for him. Lucky Obsession. Hey, how you doing? Hope you're having a drink as well. CL Slot 6, thank you for coming in. Let's see who else we got in here. Okay, we got Lucky Obsession, CL Slot 6, and Rocky Rocco Slots, Sister Yoshi. Hey, you guys, welcome in. Let's get this party started. So, the good life. Yes?
I'm here.
Okay. So, how long have you been on YouTube?
Well, so I started my channel back in 2008. I think it was January 1st, 2008. I was posting just fun videos, mostly for no reason, just kind of drunken celebrations of just whatever. For that, my first video, which is now just a members only video, it is me drinking and singing along to a couple of different videos. But basically, drinking. It was New Year's, and it was 2008, a big year. So that was my first video. It got a bunch of views because it was the beginning of YouTube, essentially 2 years after they started. But there was no intention for gambling or slots or anything like that.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. Olga Rosas, hello. Thank you for coming in. James Coupler, thank you for coming in. But you jumped on the bandwagon. I think I asked this question a while back, is if a new platform came up, would you jump on that bandwagon and try and get things rolling? It sounds like YouTube, you jumped in right away and you just started to put content out there, which is fantastic. And you mentioned right now, hey, Chaz, thank you for coming in. You mentioned that it's members only content now, which is pretty awesome, because now you could go back, if you're a member on his channel, you could go back and you could see all of his drunken videos. For me, they would be videos of Tim, but you can go back and see all of his drunken videos and see, you know, how somebody just started on a new platform, just started posting content of just hanging out, drinking beer, whatever the situation is, and enjoying it. So please go over, sign up for his membership, and take a look at some of those videos. I know I will be doing that after the show here. I'm curious to see what he put out.
There's some good stuff in there. I think I might even have I don't know, silly things like the cinnamon challenge, where you find a friend who doesn't know anything about the cinnamon challenge and give them a big spoon and tell them you're going to give them $20 if you can have the whole spoon with no water. Never happens. They just choke on the cinnamon. It's pretty mean. But, you know, we were just kids then.
Yeah, you were just kids there. Speaking of kids, how long, well, you've been doing it for 8 years, but how long have you been gambling?
So since I was 18, I actually kind of started, there's a casino called Cache Creek Casino nearby.
Okay.
It used to be a tent where they had slot machines inside the giant tent, commercial grade tent, of course. And it also was 18 and older, not 21 and older. So I went when I was 18 in 2002, and I'm one of their first like 60,000 members, whatever that does for you. But I was one of the first people to kind of start going there. And that just wet my whistle a bit. I really didn't get into gambling heavily until probably 2010 or so.
Okay. So when you speak about tents, you know, Yamava is like one of the massive Southern California casinos now. But I started going while it was just a tiny bingo hall. You know, I had to take my grandmother out to San Manuel at the time for bingo. It was huge for bingo, a big bingo hall, and I think that's how they expanded out into everything that they have now.
Yeah, you start small, and I mean, the profits are so big, you can start small and just roll it after a couple of years, and it compounds, and all of a sudden, now you're making, you know, 100 million a year as an Indian casino or Indian reservation. It's genius if you're able to.
Yeah, they just opened up the hotel there on site, which is fantastic. I haven't got a chance to go to one of those rooms yet, but hey, maybe that's one for your channel. Tell us about The Good Life. Tell us, you know, where the name came from, how you started the channel, what your intentions are with the channel eventually, you know, what your plans are.
Sure. Well, so I started obviously my YouTube channel in 2008. Did really just, you know, fun videos for a while, and then in like 2014, I went up to Tahoe, up to Harrah's and Harvey's, Lake Tahoe, and I had a good enough lucky streak where, you know, I think I had just gotten one of my first iPhones, so I'm recording things. I'm like, oh, look at this, I got a bonus, and you know, uncomfortable denomination where I'm like, all right, oh, $5 denomination, $15 bet, I got a bonus. Let's film this. And back in the day, what would have been considered shorts, I would just post those, and you know, most of my friends would see them and like them, and that was pretty much it. And you know, they wanted to see me winning once in a while, so that's what I would share. And but that after that year, I kind of had a dry streak, dry spell, whatever you want to call it, and didn't really have much to film. I was just occasionally going to a casino here and there. Eventually, I decided, hey, I should I should maybe start posting things, but I didn't actually initially think it was going to be gambling videos. It was going to be suite tours. So I would get these nice suites that the casinos would comp me, or I may pay for them depending on what property it was. And I would film them and then post them. And I liked the reactions of people seeing suites that, they're not intended to see. They're for VIPs only. Basically,
Yeah.
they don't even sell them on the website. Those are tough to see. And I always grew up thinking, oh, I wonder what that would be like. What are those rooms like? What do they have? What type of amenities? After a little while, I noticed that I had a lot of gambling content too, and I was like, well, I'll start posting up, some fun videos, me winning. And I think the very first one, 2019, maybe something like that, was a foo foo foo. I hit a major, which was like, I don't know, $400, and that
Okay.
that got me thinking, oh, look at me, I've got content. I should post this, and it got a couple hundred views, which for me was a big deal because I had like 20 subscribers at the time. So a
Okay.
couple hundred views, I was feeling successful. I was like, okay, I'm going to keep going with this. Let's see if I can gamble more. What will happen? And then that about I think it was mid 2020. I went to Harvey's Lake Tahoe again. Clearly my lucky spot. And I was
Yeah.
playing all day, and I was playing Lightning Link, and I thought, oh, there's a maxed out $1,000 major. I've got to try this. I've seen it on YouTube. I've seen other people try to get it, and I was doing all sorts of bets, and the machine was just on fire. It wasn't giving me the major yet, but it was on fire. I finally hit the major, and I thought, oh, I've got the best video. Nobody else has this. Later, I found out many people do. But then I took a little break, went up to my suite, had a delicious cocktail, and
Yeah.
I went back downstairs, and I'm walking around. I'm like, oh, I'll play some Luck at Link. Why not? And sure enough, I go up to the machine. I've got $500 basically to lose in my
Okay.
budget for that session, and I'm like, okay, I'll just play this, and maybe I can get a bonus. So 10 cent to num, $5 bets, and I'm sitting there, and it takes $400, and I've got 100 left or
Wow.
so, 130. And I'm not even, so I put the phone away. At that point, I wasn't filming every second, which is disappointing. And I'm doing some fast tapping too. So I'm like, oh, there's fast tap, fast tap. Maybe I'll fast tap into a bonus.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I just fast tap and it hits, and the grand slams down with two other hearts on each side. And I didn't at first. I wasn't familiar enough with the game. I didn't know what was going on. So I get my phone out slowly, and I
Uh,
realize how much I didn't even see the number. The grand was like $15,000, and I'm filling it. I'm just like, oh my god, I'm shaking. It was the beginning of my channel in the sense of my gambling budget instantly went up. And then just having content like that's my number one most viewed video right now. Almost
of course.
150,000 views, which for me, once again, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So I started to do that, and that's kind of where it began to grow. And then I kept going back to my local Bay Area casinos, and of course Tahoe, and recently Reno, and just kind of increasing the amount of content I had, and trying to edit it so it's interesting and giving you perspective of where I am, what I'm up to, all while of course being gambling related, but
Okay.
telling people, hey, I've got a suite I also stayed in. Click on this if you want to watch. After you watch the video, check out the suite. It's rare to see, or I've got a couple standard suites in there,
Yeah.
or basic rooms, just so you can get an idea. But
Exactly.
all the way up, you can see the suites, you can see me gamble, you can see me win. I reduced the amount of losing on there, and I put a little disclaimer like there's some recycling of winning going on here. It's not
Yeah.
all me winning, but I like to show the fun stuff because I could just go to a casino and lose if I wanted to watch a bunch of losing.
Yeah.
Um, that's my opinion, of course. Not everybody wants that. Some people do actually like to watch low bet, 50 cent, Dragon Link, bonuses. For me,
Exactly.
that's not as exciting, but I can totally see how that could be for, select
Well,
pot.
I have this question. Is it not
Sure.
that exciting because you've already passed that threshold of that denomination and that bet level? Meaning, like when I started out gambling, well, not started out because I started way back when, but when I started filming my channel, a $5 bet and a $10 bet was considered high limit. At that time,
Hmm.
um, there weren't too many people betting $5, $10 a spin. But now you got 250, 300, 500, whatever.
1,000.
Um,
I mean,
you're-
yeah, you can go crazy.
exactly. So, going down to like a 50-cent bet isn't as exciting because now I'm used to doing the $5, $10 bets because the bonuses are so much bigger when you're betting the bigger denoms. Um, so you kind of get desensitized to the big wins on the smaller bet levels. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and certainly I've found myself sometimes chasing that.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, as Lucky Obsession says, you can win on lower bets. I
Oh,
walked by someone. I was telling Jackpot Famous this last night as we were chatting at Grayton. I was telling him, I think it was his girlfriend was playing. Excuse me if it's your wife, Jackpot. Um, Somebody won right in front of me. I was walking by, 50-cent bet, Dragon Link, got the grand, and I'm walking by, and my jaw is just down to the ground. I'm like, you just
right.
got basically, I think it was like 14,000, 28,000x your bet. That is amazing. It's probably never happening again. Stop gambling right now, because if you keep doing this, you're going to be disappointed.
Exactly. Yo,
Maybe.
Ann,
You
thank you
never
for
know.
coming in. Thank you for coming in, Joanne. Really appreciate it. She says hi to the Good Life 88 as
All
well.
right. What up, Yoange? And I see Kaz, the Slot Life slot community supporter.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Kaz is in there.
Everywhere I go is Kaz. What's up, Kaz?
Hey, she is everywhere.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So the thing is, you can win, and that's why you got to switch up your bet denoms. I'll go now from $5 down to 50 cents, and everywhere in between, searching for that bonus hunting, so to speak. So tell me about your we've talked about you starting your channel, and we know you started way back when. How was that struggle to get to that first milestone or that 1K mark? Lily Slots, thank you for coming in.
Oh man. So my first struggle wasn't even 1K. My first struggle was 100. My goal was to change my channel name to
No
The Good Life
manubres.
88. And
Okay.
it was for me, I think I started obviously with zero, but when I really started getting into it in 2019, I had like 17, 16 subscribers, some really, really small amount. And I thought, okay, if I could just change my channel name, maybe some people will find me. Of course, who's searching The Good Life 88 back
Yeah.
in the day? Nobody knew me. But in my mind, I was like, yeah, if I can change the name. So I got up to 100 and was so excited. I changed my name as soon as YouTube finally processed it and let me do it. And I thought that was going to be like the big turnaround. I was like, yes, people can find me. My name's on there. You just enter youtube.com/c/ and then I was like, oh, maybe they won't be, maybe they're not finding me so quickly. But the grind to 1,000, I remember was it took me personally about 6 months once I knew I was all in, I was ready to go. I had kind of upgraded my resources, so to speak, not gambling wise, but put some of the gambling money that I could have easily used at a casino into a new laptop, some nicer software, things that I had used before, borrowing a friend's Mac or something like that, but I didn't have myself. And I thought, okay, I can improve the quality of my videos and then make them a little more interesting, because I noticed a lot of slot channels, that it's good that they go right in. They don't have excessively long intros sometimes, which mine are sort of long, but but I wanted to show a lot of the background of like, oh, this is the casino. This is how I feel when I get here, and kind of those drone image shots of like, this is like sort of like Caesar's Palace or anywhere you go. You're like, at the very first time, you're a little bit in awe. You're like, wow, took a lot of money to build this place, and I
Yeah.
get to stay in this place. And most occasions, if I want, I could stay in a giant suite and get pampered, room service, and all that. I thought it was definitely interesting. I see Olga's got a question here. I'm happy to answer too.
Yeah. Where did the channel name come from?
So I was just thinking of names that were easy to search and also not used yet. And there were minimal people out there with competing names of the good life. There was like the good life and good life, but there wasn't the good life 88. And 8 is a lucky number in a Chinese culture. So I thought, well, what's better than 1/8 than 2/8? So double luck. So the good life 88, it was just about things that are good, uh, sort of luxury. And as I said, I started with sweets. So I was doing sweets tours and I'm thinking, oh, the good life, like sweets. And then it sort of turned into the good life, like winning money at a casino, which is
Yeah,
fine by me. If I can get that, that's great.
exactly. Now, you mentioned something just a minute ago.
Sure.
Um, you said once you realized you were all in, what does that entail for you? Like once you realized you were all into YouTube, once you knew that you were committed to no matter what was going to happen, you were going to see this thing through. What exactly does that mean, all in?
For me, it was an allocation of my time. I only have so much, like every creator, and
Okay.
I was using my time for other things that were, fun hobbies, things like this, hanging out with friends. What normal creators used to do before they started a YouTube channel, socializing. And I knew it was all in because I was watching a lot of different like vidIQ, and I don't think Channel Makers was back when I started. Maybe it was, but some of those bigger channels that are giving guidance on how to make a YouTube channel, and all of them had one consistent message, which was if you're going to do this, do it. Don't just do it and then quit and then come back and then quit, or don't go
Yeah.
back and forth. Like if you want, YouTube will pick you up. It's just about consistency and providing content that people want to see. If you can get those two, things will start to move.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. And I think, hey, Shaka Slots is in the house. Thank you for coming in, Shaka. Um,
Chaka,
I think
it's one of your
like,
mods.
yeah, think media. Their thing is for anybody that's thinking about creating a channel, just do it. Just start out and you'll learn as you go. And I think that was one of the things for me. I would talk about it for so long, um, but I never took any action to do it. And then the moment I took the action to put that first video out, that's when I figured I was all in because now I got to learn how to do this and, keep going. And being a gambler, we don't quit. So, uh,
Sad but true.
yeah,
Dedicated.
dedicated. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But so at that point, you knew you were all in. You mentioned time. And when YouTube first started out, people were just filming themselves, skateboarding along the side of a car or down a hill or whatever it is,
Right.
and not really thinking so much about the content and the niche and targeting audience. And that's where it's evolved to all of these things that you have to learn as a content creator
Yeah, the analytics.
to analytics and everything. So you're never going to stop learning. You're going to keep going on and keep producing content. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Olga. Thank you. I appreciate that. She says, now look at you. You're awesome for so many others as well. I appreciate
And we
that. But
appreciate it. We appreciate it. I
um,
mean, I'll interrupt you briefly. That's how I found your channel. Is I was looking at other people's channels, and one of your interviews, and I found out all sorts of information that I wanted to know, but I didn't ask, or I couldn't get out of that channel. And then I've since watched your other videos, and
okay.
they're equally informative. So the service you're doing is actually, you found your own little niche. It's a little bit of gambling with a shit ton of knowledge of the gambling, but
Yeah.
also, you know, on the side, you're like, oh, let's interview these people that maybe you can't find easily in the YouTube algorithm by just searching.
Exactly. And that's just it. Robert Kozinski, thank you for coming in. Really appreciate that. So, that whole thing about going all in and devoting your time. Now you have to learn analytics. You have to learn everything else. How do you balance? Because me as myself, being in a relationship, having a full-time job, doing YouTube, filming at casinos. Not only that, these interviews and everything else. time is gone. You know, how do you balance your relationship and everything else? You are married, so
Indeed.
how does she not smack you for spending so much time on on YouTube?
My wife is very understanding, and she has her own career that takes a lot of her time. So we are very flexible in that. One of the main things for us, which uh, helps a lot, is we don't have children. So our
Okay.
responsibilities are mostly the important single married couple, married couple without babies. So mortgage bills and free time, things like that. I also have cats and cats I foster, things like that. So you have to obviously find the time for those things, but not having so many liabilities helps me have a little bit more time where I can take care of all these tasks. Now, back to the original question is how do I manage that and how do I not piss her off by constantly be working? It's a slippery slope. You know, I test my boundaries and sometimes I'll be on my laptop for 6, 8 hours editing an upcoming, like my Rhino pet house video. That took me several hours just to get the content together, edit it. Obviously, I went out and filmed with a drone and I had to put all of it together. Once I told her what I was up to and she knew that how excited I was about it, she's very supportive. So she'll take that time to, you know, watch something that she wants to on TV while I have my headphones and I'm typing or I'm clicking away. Or she'll go into the other room and do something she needs to do, knowing that okay, he's busy working. She knows now I'm monetized, so at least it's not for nothing.
Yeah.
Although I think we all know monetization, at least as a beginning channel, doesn't mean you're a millionaire. Far from it. It doesn't even pay for my gambling budget. But at
Right.
least it's something where it's a potential, where it's kind of like growing a business. You know, I've had my own business for years, and when you start, you don't have many customers, you don't have any viewers, you don't have anybody who's interested, but word of mouth travels. If you provide a good service or a quality product, or in this case like YouTube, a good video that's at least interesting or doesn't clickbait people too much,
Exactly.
they'll come
I'm going to
back
interrupt
and then
you
they'll
one
talk about it.
second.
Yeah, yeah.
T-Town Gambler, thank you for coming in. Really appreciate it. The Gambler After Dark.
Excuse
Hey,
me.
hey, hey. Thank you for coming in. Really appreciate that. Got to talk to him yesterday morning. Gave me some advice. Love the guy. Love the guy. Definitely. Um, so continue on. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but just had to
It's
say
okay.
hi to.
Excuses to drink martinis is something I
Hey,
take
man,
advantage of.
I don't think you really need an excuse to drink a martini any time of the day. I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's noon, but it is probably 5 o'clock somewhere
somewhere.
in the Atlantic. Yeah. So if
So
I'm on a
when
cruise ship in the Atlantic, it's 5 o'clock there.
so
It
when
counts.
you okay, Melvin Lopez has a question. What casinos do you play at?
Sure.
What's your local?
Um, I am a local Bay Area native, so I play most at Grayton Resort and Casino, which is in Roanoke Park. It's
Yes.
about an hour away from me where I live. And from there, my second choice is usually Cache Creek, mostly because it's along the 80 and it's the next logical stop. And then beyond that, there's Thunder Valley Casino, which has
Okay.
been around forever. And then Hard Rock, which just opened in November of 2019. So I've been to all of them. There is a local casino, Lytton, San Pablo, but it's mostly level two machines, really bad odds, and kind of not the. If you think of casinos as a slightly unsafe place, this is a, I would say, maybe slightly less safe place in the sense of, you know, there's just a lot more crime involved in its location, unfortunately. But I still go, you know, if you're not bragging and, you know, boasting and having, you know, a bunch of hundreds in your air and screaming, I'm rich, you're probably, fortunately, I haven't had that problem at that
Well, neither
casino.
have I. Real Twinning just came in. They said Grayton is one of their favorite casinos. Um, let's
Yeah, and
see.
they hate San Pablo. Don't
And
blame
you're
them.
welcome. You have always been a supporter to me, so I really appreciate you. Aaron Lee, um,
Shout out to Slot Mates.
so lot mates that are in the house. Um, Let's see. They said they love your room tours. Aaron Lee, Aaron Lee, Aaron Lee loves your video tours of the high quality suites that you take.
Thank you, Aaron.
Um,
I
so
appreciate it. I put a lot of work into those, sometimes more than the gambling videos. There's there's so much background to getting into those suites. It's tough compared to you can just sit down in the slot machine and start recording, assuming
oh
they
yeah,
allow recording. But getting into those penthouses and the high-end VIP suites, there is negotiation, flattery, compliments towards
bribery,
whoever may have access to those suites.
bribery.
Bribery, yeah,
So
Jinx.
yeah, exactly. So we're going to get into
Sure.
one of your suites that you got to go and view. But when you go to all of these places, when you go gambling, one, are your local casinos film friendly? Do they let you film? Grayton and them, did you have to get permission, or is this something that's open like Yamava or one of the other casinos that just allow it?
So yes and no, depending on the property. I reached out to the marketing departments of Grayton, Cache Creek, Hard Rock, and Thunder Valley, and then actually Harvey's Lake Tahoe. But none of them really either they didn't respond, they
Hello,
didn't say
Aika
a thing,
Stewart.
or they just they said that you're not allowed to film, and good luck. Grayton has been. I have my most videos from Grayton, but
Okay.
I ask them, they're not interested, and occasionally security will stop by and say you need to stop filming, which I will stop filming,
Okay.
and then they walk away, and I'll continue filming. If they want to kick me out of the casino, that's up to them, but that would be foolish, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Ooh, Shaka Slots, just subscribe, thank you. Cache Creek.
50 cents.
Cache Creek is a little bit more sneaky in their ways. They're I should say less supportive. They're more on your ass about filming, and I know a lot of local people. Like I think NorCal Slot Guy and Rose S Slots. We've all had trouble filming there, and sometimes
Okay.
during a big bonus, they'll walk up right mid bonus. You know, like I think I had Buffalo Link one time. And I had just gotten the $1,000 mini on a $25 spin, and it was fucking okay. And you know, it's almost an instant hand pay. And sure enough, I'm sitting there filming. I'm sorry, sir, you can't film. And I'm just like, you son of a bitch. I mean, I get it. And most of those guys, it's their job and it's not their policy. But it just sucks because, you know, I've got a job to do and I'm really into it. So if I have to cut it, it's almost worse than having my battery die on me while I'm filming, you know?
Yeah.
So Cache Creek, not so friendly. Thunder Valley, they don't really seem to care anymore. They used to care a little bit, and they would stop me. But my recent trips, I haven't had any issues. Maybe it's this is flattery towards myself. Maybe it's because I've got a YouTube channel, or it's just because there's so many damn people with cell phones and they're filming, or they're just using their phones, not necessarily filming. Even with their high-tech security cameras, they don't know.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do go to your local Cache Creek, in the kitchen with Karen.
Yes.
I saw her interview. I heard good things and lots of good questions. And she makes good food, I hear.
Yeah, she does. Fantastic food. I've tried a couple of her recipes and they're awesome. So when you go to these, I don't think I asked the question. Do you take your wife with you?
Sure.
Does she enjoy the same things?
She's not a gambler, which for me, I find that to be attractive in the sense of my budget is just for me. So she's not out there losing. Obviously, she's not out there winning, but having a nice neutral slate where like I can come back up to the room and be like, "Hey, I won." There's never like a "Oh, I lost." It's like it's whatever is happening with me, which is a little bit self-involved. But she doesn't really like secondhand smoke or the smell of smoke, so that
Okay.
keeps her away as well. And beyond that, a lot of the time, like her work, she can telework for some things, but she has to be on site.
Okay.
So she can't always go when I want to go. So I'm usually able to go on the weekdays, which is the best chance of getting a nice suite, best chance of getting extra comps. And they usually have activities or special promos, things like that in the midweeks anyway. Obviously, it's not like the Friday, Saturday win a big car giveaways, but I mean, my odds of getting a free car, I might as well just gamble. And you got
Exactly.
pretty bad odds either way. I don't know. I've never won anything big off of those kind of giveaways. But yeah,
Hey,
she is very supportive when I do go, and I make sure to communicate with her my schedules of like when I plan on going and how long I'll be gone, and bring back something nice for her. Not just casino free giveaway swag, but like she likes high end cheese. I know that sounds silly, but if I'm in a restaurant, I will get a cheese plate with all sorts of fancy cheeses that you would find at Whole Foods, and
yeah.
they'll get it to go. I'll put it in my overly sized refrigerator because the suites have bigger fridges. Pop it in there. Next day, bring it back to her, and she's usually pretty pleased with that.
There you go.
Yep.
James Spitzer, Cash Out, thank you for coming in. Randy the Slot Wizard, thank you for being here.
All right, James.
Gracie Slots, thank you. Ashley, thank you for coming in. Really appreciate it. So you know that's actually wonderful because, like you said, your budget is not doubled. When me and my girlfriend go out, so we have to double our budget when we're going gambling because
Right.
we
You just got to be prepared. Be prepared.
yeah, you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared. Exactly. So, your local casinos. How about your budget? What is your budget for? One, do you have a budget for filming, and do you have a budget for gambling, or how do you budget for your YouTube channel, so to speak?
Well, I'll tell you, beginning my channel, or at least when I started a couple of years ago, was tough. My average budget was minimal, $100 for the day, low rolling, nothing too crazy. And when I went to Tahoe in 2020 and hit that grand for a lot of money,
Okay.
that supplied my budget for the year. And I was able to recycle that over and over and over, winning, losing, winning, losing, winning, and losing, but getting so much content and cool bonuses and things that bucket list stuff that I didn't even know I was going to want until I got it and realized, oh, a lot of people wishes that they had, hit the grand on Dragon Link. I didn't even know that that's something
Yeah.
I was ever going to have a chance to get. What up,
Okay.
Ashley?
So the question for you is
Sorry.
this then.
Yes. I'll go deeper if you want into my budget and how it's changed. When I first started, like when I went to Lake Tahoe, my budget was I think $200 per day, and I was there 3 or 4 days, so I had like $800.
Okay.
And I was chasing the major. I hit $1,000 maxed out major, and that gave me even more to go work with. And I was like, oh, this is going great. And then I went back and hit the grand, and now I had a shit ton of money, which was great. Of course, I have to set some money aside for taxes, things like that. But if you plan it, it helped me have my budget be a variable amount depending on how I was feeling, what casino I was at, what type of comps they were giving me. If you give me more comps, maybe I'll spend more money, and I can raise my budget from $100 a day to say $500 a day,
Okay.
depending on the casino and depending on like if they put me in a giant suite or penthouse, I'll probably spend a little bit more money or increase the budget
Okay.
to a certain point. You have to be conscious of the fact that long term, you're going to lose money. Short term,
Exactly.
anything can happen.
Real quick, Slot Exotic, thank you for coming in. Oh yeah, Slots is in the house. Sugar
Oh,
Mama
yeah.
Slots is in the house. Appreciate you guys for coming in. Really love that. Bryant Dupree just got here. Thank you for coming in. You're not late at all. We're just getting into budget
We're
and
just warming
everything.
up. I've got
Just
a
warming
dirty
up.
martini. It's still halfway full. See?
Hey,
Halfway full.
so
Optimistic.
your budget, obviously, that is something. Oh, no problem, Lucky Obsession. No problem. Thank you for coming in.
Feel lucky.
Wannabe Slot Channel Steve is in the house. So when you started when you hit the major and stuff, that obviously boosted your budget. Did you save that as this is what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this much of that money and continue to build on my channel because that's what you won so far, and you want to keep rolling that into your channel.
When I hit the maxed out $1,000 major, that wasn't my first thought. My first thought was, oh, good. let's squirrel this away. We'll go back up to the suite, have a cocktail, think about things, you know, analyze like, okay, what could I do here? Can I play a different game? Can I do this or that? I ended up basically just with my budget that time was $800. So whatever I had lost, I think was probably like $300. So I was down to $500. And I was like, okay, I put $300 back into my budget, put that away into my safe, and said, no matter what, I'm leaving with the money I came with, plus all these comps, free food, all the stuff that they'll give you if you keep gambling. And then I took the 1,000 or whatever I had from the major, and I just started spreading the love. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go over here, going to play this game. Let's play some games I've never played. A couple Rhino games I recall.
Okay.
They didn't do very well, but still, nice to try. And I stumbled across the Lock It Link game, and I thought, oh, okay, you know, I've got about $400, $500. Let's try this game. I've seen, I like the theme of it. I've seen nightlife. But, you know, it's got martini glasses as well, so that drew me in, which is stupid. Yeah, so $400 in of the $500, I was thinking to myself, God damn it. Well, I guess I'm not going to get any footage. So I put my phone down. I'm like, well, I guess there's nothing to film here. And I start fast tapping. I'm like, well, I got 20 more taps, $5 a spin, $100 left. Let's see what we can do. Tap, 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 tap. And like the fourth tap, I realized it just made a sound, and it's kind of like slow motion. And I'm seeing it. I'm like, is that, oh, it's good. It's a gold heart. And usually I'm used to like the mini or the minor. And I'm like, oh, which one is it? And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, it's the grand. And it's for over $10,000. It's like 15. I can't believe this. I'm shaking. I'm like trying to film, and I'm just like in such excitement. It was my biggest, and still is my biggest win ever, especially for the bet size. $5 is not extreme, obviously, as you were saying back in the day. That was a high limit bet, but nowadays for $5, it's not hugely amount. It's not a huge amount. So that is when I really started thinking, okay, I've now got the maxed out major. I've now got a grand. Like, maybe I can just start rolling with this. I've got some budget now. I can go and see what it would be like to be a high roller for as long as, you know, I set aside a certain amount of money. And fortunately, the whole year it kept going really well.
Okay, so there's 2 points I want to touch at, but Aaron Lee wants to know, what's your biggest losing trip?
Let's see here. There's been many. So if you want a record, I think after that Lock It Link win, I went to Cache Creek a couple of weeks later, and I think it was somewhere in the $4,000 range. It was a lot of money. I did get several hand pays that trip, but the net result was minus 4,000. That was one of the times where I actually started to think I was going to stop doing YouTube, because I thought, okay, well, $4,000 and I got a couple hand pays. What's that? I'm not even monetized. What's that going to do for me? I can't afford this. So I thought about it a little bit and backed down a little bit more, because that's a lot of money. It was a 3-day trip, so technically it was like a little over 1,000 a day. But even that's a lot of money to most people. And so I was riding high on the casino's money. So mentally, you're like, I'm gonna win. I won there. Why won't I win here?
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's my biggest loss, Aaron. But thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah,
that's okay.
We try and forget those trips quite a bit.
But you have to remember them too. That keeps you in check, because otherwise you could just go off on a bender and be like, oh, I'm a big winner, and forget all that losing. And sadly, the word loser does apply to me and many people.
Exactly. We learn to brush off the losing quite easy. Okay, so there's a couple of points I want to touch on. One is bucket list. And that was in the question.
Yes.
What are your bucket lists? What's on your bucket list for YouTube, or for yourself, or for your channel?
Let's see. Well, I think you were discussing earlier, you never hit the grand, which, as I said, until I hit the grand. I didn't even realize it. I hit 2 grands. Sorry, this is things that are not on my bucket list. I already accomplished. They would have been on my bucket list, which would be the grand on Locket Link, the grand on Dragon Link. I have not hit the grand on Lightning Link, which is actually on my bucket list, as
Okay.
well as the grand or maxed out major on Locket Link High Limit. Sorry, Locket Link, Lightning Link. There's so many links. The maxed out major on a Lightning Link has already. I've been chasing it since I started. I saw it one time and I thought, oh, I'd love to get 10 Gs. That sounds great. But everybody but me seems to be getting it, and so that's on my bucket list. And I think you mentioned it too. I've been chasing those 15 Buffalo Head. I know NorCal Slot Guys hit 15 Buffalo Head like 5 times now, and I see his videos and I go, it's fucking awesome, but it
Yeah.
hasn't happened. So those are the ones on my list.
Okay.
And they're
Okay.
big. They may not ever come.
Yeah, they are big, and they will come. You just gotta put enough money into the machine to get it to come.
Yeah.
Um,
Damn, Karen. 18 grand on a hand pan Rhino. Good for you.
right? That's what got her hooked.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think,
Winning is supposedly, a lot of people have told me, they weren't big into gambling, and then they won a bunch of money, and they're like, "I'm a big winner," and then slowly you give it away, and it chips away, and you're like, hmm. You have
yeah.
to decide where you want to go.
During our trip, it's a video I haven't posted yet, but last July, me and my girlfriend and a couple of friends were at Cosmo, and I was doing okay. I was playing some machines here and there, but she likes to play her own machines. She actually played it was called American Gods. It's a themed slot machine.
Okay.
2 weeks before we were there, she played it. She put $100 in. She played like $1.50, $1.75, up and down for literally 3 hours. She was on that machine. So the payback was good. It kept her there. She was up $300 down, whatever. We leave. We come back 2 weeks later. She's playing a 75-cent bet. She only had $40 in the machine, and she hit the grand. She hit the grand 16K off of a 75-cent bet.
Wow.
And
More than
yeah,
16,000 times her bet. That's amazing.
yeah, that was pretty amazing. She was happy. I was playing on the machine down a little ways from her, and I hear my buddy scream out, "Hey, you better get over here!" And then she called me and said, "You got to get over here." I had a $150 ticket in there, and I just ran right over and left the ticket in the machine. And then, luckily, the person next to me was watching it. So,
That's
oh,
nice.
there she
Yeah,
goes.
most of the time they'll just take it.
There she goes. Well, she's telling me, "Wow, that was a secret." Not anymore.
Well, yeah, that's why you didn't post it yet.
Exactly. It's not posted yet.
Yeah. Well, I'd
So
love to see that whenever you decide to do that. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
yeah, I'll put that together and put that out there pretty
It's not like
soon.
you have anything else to do around here.
Right. It's not a secret anymore.
Well, yeah, that the millions of tasks that you have.
Exactly. So that was one thing. The other thing that I wanted to touch on was you said that after you had that losing session that you were thinking about quitting. What has been
Indeed.
the most difficult time for you on YouTube? We all go through the losing sessions, but some of the things for me and YouTube in this journey over the past year has been the ups and downs of YouTube,
Right.
or trying to compare yourself to other channels,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get discouraged because you see so many other channels that are just taking off, and your channel is like just slowly growing. Um,
Right.
what what what's been your experience as far as um, YouTube and being discouraged, or thinking about giving up?
I would say two things. First one would be just what you touched on. Looking at other people's channels. Obviously, I can see their analytics. You can go to Social Blade and see how much they're estimating on their income, advertising, all that stuff. Um, that I found to be the hardest, especially when I was like at 600 subscribers, because I was like, oh, this will be great, but everybody else is doing so good. Um, I find it it was tough at first to realize other people can be more successful than you. But just like anything in life, there's always going to be someone better than you, and there's always going to be someone who's not as good as you. You can concentrate on either one, or just try to, I try as best as I can, stay in my lane. If I'm doing collabs and things like that, I will absolutely go and look up other people's stats and their analytics, what they're getting. Obviously, you can't see everything, but enough to put a little picture together and be like, oh, okay, they're actually doing pretty well considering their audience base, and like that's a good match for me. But challenge wise, I'd say YouTube, I'll say this bluntly, tried to fuck me with a video. It was actually my most popular one, and it's the Grand where I hit it in Tahoe.
Okay.
Somebody had flagged it for some reason. I forget the reason now, but it was basically they were saying I was selling something or promoting something in my video, or I had a link that was not allowed. And for me, I of course panicked. I was stressed. It's at the time it had 50,000 views, and for me at that time, 50,000 views was an immense. I was getting a couple thousand views a day. So all of a sudden, my most popular video gets taken down by YouTube, and any way to get it back up, you can, try to click in. Oh yeah, we'll review it. They reviewed it and then denied me again.
Okay.
I found that to be pretty tough. Fortunately, I did have the help of Brian Christopher. He was very nice, and we emailed back and forth things that he would recommend. He mentioned the videos. He's had some videos that he posted and people just flagged, or YouTube's smart system thought that it was a bad video for whatever reason and took them down. So he said he had like 4 or 5 videos that were great, that were, big wins. He had to just repost them and then try it again. NG Slot was similar. I reached out to him. He was super cool. He was like, dude, don't let them, fuck with you like that, basically. And, check in with Twitter, have those people research it, get the video back on. If it's as good as you say, it's going to be smart move for you. So the tough part has been, sadly, the person who's supplying me with this, the possibilities of posting all these videos is YouTube, which can be your enemy if there's an issue. But that being said, that was my biggest challenge. The reason I might quit, which is going back further to your question, is just monetarily, trying to chase bonuses and goals and bucket list items. They are much more fun when they just come and jump into your bucket. If you're chasing it with an open bucket going, come on, Grant, get in the bucket. Your bucket is spilling over all of your money, and you're like, well, and you barely have anything to show for it except a bunch of stressful, bets that you're like, come on, Grant, it has to happen. I need content. It's like, so
Thank you, Robert.
tried,
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, you're all good. I tried to step back a little bit and realize that like I couldn't chase him, but I'm still gonna have fun. I'm gonna have my my dirty martini, or depending on my drink of choice for that day. And I'm gonna just enjoy myself, go to the casino, try to enjoy the comps, get them when I can. Sometimes my host will tell me if I'm not gambling enough. He'll be like, "Hey, I can't give you any more whatever food comps or this comps or that comps." And I always go, "That's fine. That's fine. I won't use any comps. I'm gonna keep gambling at whatever level I feel comfortable and not chase the comps." Because that could be a stress too, is, you've got all these offers, you've got a free room and, $500 worth of restaurant steak or whatever. And you're like, I got to use it. And it's like, I'll do it if it's convenient for me.
Chasing comps. First of all, Oh Yeah Slot says there's a lot of haters out there. Most of them are other channels, unfortunately, when people start reporting, your videos or whatever.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Just stay positive and don't even bother with that. But when you mentioned chasing comps, it brings me to my last year of comps. I normally go down to Harris, SoCal, and
home of the Yoshis.
Yeah, all of the Yoshis. But I built up such comps that year. I was at the top tier of their rewards thing, which was 7 stars.
7 stars. Oh, you see, I've never made that. Good for you.
So I made 7 stars. That was the year before. So all last year I had the 7-star status, which was fantastic. But last year I started diversifying where I played. I didn't stay just at the Caesars properties. I was at Cosmo. I was at, you know, the other casinos, Paula, Pachanga, Puma. So I would spend a lot of money at the other casinos as well. And last year in December, I was about 20,000 points away from keeping my 7-star status. So I was like chasing that comp as you just put out there. So they put those tier levels up there for a reason to get you to taste those.
They're not stupid. They are in a business too, and they want you to spend your money where you might not.
Exactly. So anyway, that was my tale of woes. I missed it by so close, but yet so far for this year. But this year I'm off to a good start. So we'll see what happens when we get close to the end of the year there. So
yes, Karen, dirty martinis, extra olives. Although mine is just a little dirty, but I do like extra olives, so it's a little weird. So we're having a dirty martini chat.
Okay. Joanne says she won't chase comp levels anymore. Not worth it. You're absolutely right, Joanne. Absolutely right. Let's go to James Spitzer. Thank you.
What's up, James?
Have a wonderful evening or a wonderful day. And he's got some stuff coming up. We'll talk about it either today or tomorrow.
Yeah, him and Yoshi's have been collabing a lot. I've seen them all over the place.
Yeah, and that was my next question to you. Collabs. Tell me what you would like to see out of collabs, or what you would do with collabs. Bye, Shaka. Thank you for coming in.
Hey, thanks, Shaka. Aloha. I would say my first and only collab actually so far that has been posted was with Rose S Slots, who overall her channel's not huge, but I always found like she posts she's very real. She also likes dirty martinis. I discovered this more as we've chatted over the past few months.
I like Rose S, by the way.
Yeah. She's always like, she was just in Tahoe, so she's posting on Instagram pictures of Tahoe, and I'm just having like, you know, memories. I'm like, I love Tahoe, and I was just there in December, but I could probably live up there without actually living up there. I would want to live at the casino, which is a sad statement, maybe.
No, I'm with you there.
But yeah, so my next upcoming collab is with NorCal Slot Guy. And I believe that is coming up. I'd have to double check the date. I'm going to be doing a community post to let everybody know when it's coming out. But that's coming up soon, where we're just sitting there playing some Buffalo, having a good time. And we actually just bumped into each other at the casino and started filming. We're like, hey, I'm here, you're here, let's gamble. And so we both love the Buffalo slot machines in the secret high limit room in the back. So we were playing that, and I thought, let's do a little collaboration here. You know, he's almost to 10,000 subscribers, which is a feat amongst itself. That's a lot of subscribers. So I know I'm excited for him to reach that. My other, I guess, collabs that I'd like to do. I think I mentioned it before. I was chatting with Jackpot Amos, who is just blowing up. He just in the past 2 weeks has had 4,000 subscribers.
Wow.
In the past 2 weeks. And he just celebrated his 2,000 subscriber marker, and now he's almost at 6K. So I was chatting with him last night and, you know, discussing his most popular videos and things like that. And so we agreed we'll probably get together at one point and do something. I'm not sure what it's going to be, either a group pull or just a gambling side by side, or I don't know. He's got a couple different videos where, you know, he does like challenges, like make me money. So we'll see what we do. I know for some things I'd like to collab with. I know Yoshi Slots, obviously. I was going to be in the San Diego area, well, in a couple weeks, but I ended up having to change my plans to switch it to Vegas. So I was going to collab with him, but I am now going to be in Vegas for a friend's wedding. So I just, as you said, managing time, I didn't have enough time for two. And my wife will not just let me fly from Vegas to San Diego just to meet up with the Yoshis and then fly back to Vegas. So stay here.
Have you thought about collabs from a distance. I mean, I have a couple of videos out there where basically I could send you a link like we're doing now, and
Through
you
StreamYard.
could have your slot playing, I could have my slot playing, and we could go back and forth. You know, you do 10 spins on yours, and then I'll do 10 spins on mine. We could do something like that, some kind of collab. I could set it up for the Yoshis, and you could definitely do something like that where you don't have to be in the same place, but you could still do that collab video.
I've definitely thought about that. I know that's probably the future, really, and I'm probably resistant to it, mostly because I like the interaction person to person. Obviously, through the screen, especially post COVID, there's a lot of people who have adjusted to that. But
Yeah.
I'm still in the old man sense where I'm just, an old man at heart. I'm like, I want to see you in person. Let's gamble side by side. Come on now.
Hey,
Kind of like an old school man.
there's nothing like that. There's nothing else like that. It is so awesome, especially when we did these big events like the Hit It and Quit It and the Everyone SoCal event where
Yeah, I
we
saw
had,
that. I saw that.
yeah, we have everybody there, and the atmosphere is so different because you have all of these people around you that are doing the same thing, and it makes it epic. Really, it does.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's like I guess being at a bar with a bunch of other alcoholics,
Yeah,
you're socially accepted and encouraged to be belligerent, which is,
been there and done
no
that.
judging. Yeah.
Been there and done that,
Right.
definitely. Um,
Yeah, so it's
let's.
definitely those are my collab thoughts. I would love to also do something with real twinning because they've been super cool to me. Doing community posts of some of my videos. As you said, yes, Sister Yoshi, that would be awesome. I know I've DM'd with Yoshi himself, and we were arranging something for this March, but I texted him. I said, well, we've got to bail. I just can't do too many trips. Even though
Yeah,
Harris SoCal had a lot of cool offers for me, like several $100s in free play, several $100s in spa play, resort credit. They really want me to come, but it'll they'll offer those offers again, I'm sure. And
oh, without a
you
doubt.
know, yeah, yeah. And I'd love to combo it too. Is I love going on cruises and cruise ships. So I'd love to go down there, do a cruise, and then go over the casino. There's casino everywhere.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. If you're coming down this way, we might as well just have a big meetup at Yamava.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I
Yeah.
definitely, if anyone's in Vegas in April, I will be in Vegas. So staying where Caesar once stayed.
Oh,
They've
the
got,
real Caesar.
yeah, yeah, they got pager service too. So my pager still works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love the reference. I just watched that the other day, rewatched
oh,
it.
it's so
One of
good.
my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah. I mean, the ambiance of just Vegas and they capture it. And even though half the time they're not even at Vegas at Caesars, for me,
Yeah.
I got married in Vegas. So I have a lot of memories. We stayed at Caesar's Palace in a giant suite for
Yeah.
our reception post marriage thing. And I just have a lot of memories there. So yeah, anytime I see a movie or anything with Vegas, and then like the little chapels and things, I think,
Yeah.
oh, that's great.
That is awesome.
Sugar
So,
Mama just subbed. I knew it.
hey, we've had a
Thanks.
we've had a few people in here so
Yeah,
already.
no, I see on my phone my little notifications. They're blowing up. So
Um, okay, so we talked about your bucket list. We talked about you filming slots, um, YouTube. What's well, let's talk about what you do when you're not YouTubing.
sure.
Let everybody know what you do.
Well, I've definitely got a lot of comments on my voice for my intros, my outros, or just in general when I'm talking. And I think a lot of people just don't realize. I don't really brag about it, but I do MC services, master of ceremony stuff. So throughout the Bay Area, if you're having like a special event, corporate wedding party, any kind of thing that needs announcements, black and white balls, things like that. I do announcements, master of ceremonies. So if you need to have someone guide your guests from cocktail hour to dinner service, I'll probably be the one grabbing the mic from the DJ, going, "All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to move from cocktail hour. We're going to move you down to the Rotunda Ballroom. for dining service, make sure to check the seating chart so you know where you're at, blah, 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 depending on the event. So I do a lot of those things, and I've been doing that since I was 18.
Okay. Is that your own business or?
It is. I started it in 2009, 2008, after working for a few friends who had their own entertainment businesses, and they needed help, doing announcements because it's hard to multitask. Say you're at a wedding, the DJ's got to play a certain song for this, and then maybe there's an announcement or toasts over here. It's easier to have some separate person coordinating with your guests, so that the event manager or the DJ or whoever's running the event, or the band, sometimes it's the band, they don't want to come off the stage or put down their guitar. They want to have someone separate that can come up, do announcements, have a sheet of facts or bullet points of what needs to be announced, or like a wedding, like don't forget to sign the guest book over near the cupcake station, like things like that.
Exactly. Do you want to give your company a plug?
Oh no, I actually don't do any sales at this point, which is my favorite thing in the world. I hate sales. Everybody I work with, I'm a preferred vendor throughout the city, and it's really, people book me based on my availability. I only have, it's most times it's weekends, so I'm usually working on weekends.
Nice.
And that's why I was saying earlier, my wife doesn't come. She's usually working Monday through Friday, so I'm working Saturday, Sunday, sometimes Fridays, sometimes Thursdays. So we have to work it out schedule wise. But definitely, we could never be at a casino together because I'm there on the weekdays and she's working and she can't possibly go. So it's a lot of coordination here.
Little Dutchie, thank you for coming in. Kino Kid, Kino Candy, thank you for coming in. Really appreciate that. Okay, so we talked about your collabs. What advice would you give to somebody that's just thinking about starting out right now with the channel?
Ooh, are they starting a slot channel?
Any channel, YouTube channel.
I would say start posting videos as soon as you can. It's the best way to start getting practice, to get feedback, to have people kind of, letting you know whether or not your content is good, either by their clicks or the retention rate, or just by their comments, saying like, oh, this is great, or oh, this is your video is too shaky and I can't hear your audio. That's the only way you're going to get true feedback, to make your channel better, to actually grow, and then provide sort of like a service, provide something that people want to watch, that's entertaining and doesn't feel like it's a money grab. Like I could put a million ads in each one of my videos, but I try to reduce it as much as I can to minimal amount of ads possible, just on, a couple of points, and then, watch the video. That's what I care about.
Okay. That's excellent advice. We're coming up a little over an hour. Is there anything else you want to get out there?
Well, let's see here. I mean, I had a question I asked you earlier, which would be who you'd like to interview. Maybe this will help. They'll hear this. Who would you like to interview, but you can't? I'm switching it around on you. Okay. Just one question.
So one question, somebody that I'm reaching, you could ask me as many questions as you want. I'll stay on as long as you want. But the one person that I think right now, of course you have the big channels and everything, but I really want to interview Slotty by Nature. She's a friend. Oh, thank you for that super chat. Really appreciate that. Drink more martinis.
I will. Thank you. Good life for the suggestion.
Yeah, drink more martinis. Thank you.
I'm almost done. Took me an hour.
Hey, Slotty by Nature. I've met her. She's a friend. I'd love to get her on the show and pick her brain. She's been around a while. She's one of the first channels that I started watching. But eventually, I think I'm going to go through and I'm going to pretty much get to interview pretty much everybody that I possibly could come in contact with. As I grow more, I'm sure more channels will want to be interviewed by me. I got a lot of people reaching out now. Got a huge list of channels that I'm booking up, and I'm constantly improving. So yeah, that would be That would be the one person right now that's on my radar.
Well, hopefully you get her. And I must say, Ashley, yes, one of these days we'll try a black Superman. It's a drink at Thunder Valley Casino that she's been bugging me to try.
Okay. Yeah, one of
Totally
these
random.
slot channels, Steve, definitely. I'll put you on the list. Just contact me on Messenger, without
Yep.
a
The more
doubt.
interaction
Classy,
you
thank
have,
you. Thank you.
the more interaction you have with Rhino Man, the more he's probably gonna DM you and be like, "Hey."
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Definitely.
And
So,
I guess the last thing I would say is mostly a thank you to both my viewers, especially the slot community. When I started this, I didn't know that existed. Didn't know. I just thought it was just a bunch of solo people who were clicking and liking. And both watching your videos showing, like Sister Yoshi and the mods, I didn't know it was so intense, and there's so the rabbit hole goes awfully deep. So thank you to all of you guys. I don't have mods currently because I don't do lives, but I know one day I will. And there's a lot of people I've formed bonds with just by the common love of gambling and sweets and drinking martinis that I would certainly trust to help mod my stuff if and when I start going live and doing those things. So thank you to them. Thank you to basically all the people that are supporting me, clicking like, and then watching the video most of the way through, and then watching
oh,
another one of my videos. You
hey,
binge people. I appreciate you most for binging my shit.
hey, not at all. I enjoy watching the videos, and like I said, well, I told you this behind doors. I wake up in the morning. Early morning is when I go on videos and watch them. 5 in the morning to like 7, 8.
Mm-hmm.
Keep doing that. So that's when I follow up on comments and everything else. So it's hard, but I thank you for coming on the show, and I would like to do a follow-up interview with you in maybe 3, 4 months, see where you're at. I know where you're at now.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I
Yeah,
imagine I'll be at somewhere around 2,000 subscribers, and hopefully, I don't know.
beyond
My
that.
goal is more views and more people watching for longer. I don't particularly. I'm not chasing the subscriber thing just because sometimes if you subscribe, you don't actually get the views.
Yeah,
So
but
at this point, I don't. Whatever amount of subscribers I have, I'm very happy with. I'm more excited when I see a lot of people watching my videos.
well, you could blow up like your
Mr.
friend
Handpay.
there. Yeah,
Oh, Jack
and
or Jackpot Famous. Yep,
exactly. Who knows? One video could do that.
that's all
Um,
it took for him. Yeah.
Hey guys, I got a couple of announcements to make real quick. Tomorrow's show, Jackpot Joe's Adventures in Slots, he will be on at 5 o'clock. That is actually my last show of my 1 year on YouTube. I started my YouTube channel March 2nd. March 1st will be my last show. March 2nd, I will be doing a show that recaps the good, the bad, the ugly for my 1 year on YouTube. I hope you guys will tune in for that. That'll be on Wednesday, but tomorrow I have Jackpot Joe, Adventures in Slots. I want to thank the Good Life 88. I'm going to continue to watch your stuff. Looking forward to seeing
Awesome,
all
man.
of the suites. And we didn't even get into how you get to get into those huge suites, but
Another time for another interview. That's fine.
exactly, we can
We
save that
burned
for
through an
another.
hour like that. I love talking
Exactly.
casino.
Hey guys, let the good times roll. Until next time, baby. I love you. Have a good time.